Alright, level 7, Rainbow Resort, here in this Kirby's Adventure walkthrough on Video Games 101. The final level with conventional stages, and we only have a couple more of those hidden switches to find to complete this 100% completion of Kirby's Adventure. And this is probably the one which took me the most time to figure out, because there's a certain sequence which you need to do to access this particular hidden switch. We can use the laser quite effectively here to have some fun, bounce off some walls here, take out some enemies. Get this one up right here to get to 51. Feeling pretty good. So this is the section right here. So first, you can grab the spark move right here to clear out some of these blocks. You just slide through them as well. We're going to use this over here against this next section right here. We're going to take out some blocks which you wouldn't think you could take them out initially. Go all the way over there. Don't get too close because we don't want to kill this guy. We want to inhale him and get his beam ability here. And cut our way through here. And this guy's going to keep showing up. We want to be careful here. Just kind of let these guys out of this section right here. Because I want to keep that bottom layer intact. Give myself a little extra height in taking out some of the above areas right here. So jump right here and use your beam ability. Try to chisel out as much of this as possible so you can fly up and just breathe out and clear out this area. Alright, we're looking pretty good now, so let's get rid of the beam. We're going to let this guy pop up here with his fireball ability. Inhale him. And then go all the way up where we revealed right here and use your fireball to access this door, and this will take us to the hidden switch. Here we go, another crane game which we're going to skip. Now you just plop through the bottom floor right there. At this point, there's only one final hidden switch which we need to worry about, and I don't think it's until the final level, or the final stage here in Rainbow Resort. The next stage that we have here is a bit of a boss rush in the style of Mega Man. Popularized that concept. All the mini bosses we've taken down to this stage. Just use our fireball if you still got it at this point to make short work of Poppy here. A little sloppy, but that's alright. And make sure you pull him in to get the crash ability. Use this on the next boss once we go through this door here. Again, give him a second to start moving around. If you use it too soon, it won't take, so just wait a little second before you use that. Get the mic ability. Not quite as devastating against bosses, at least, as the crash ability, but we can use this to stack against Mr. Frosty here. There you go. And we'll save this last one. I'll take that over Mr. Frosty's freeze maneuver. And I like going all rock and roll in that final use. We've seen enough of Bonkers to know how to fight him by now. We know he's going to launch one of those little coconut football looking things. Little nuts. Get that hammer. It's actually not an easy boss rush because they don't give you any replenishing items midway through it. So have to be very careful here not to take too much damage on any one boss. Love the hammer. Probably the best weapon to be in your hand during a boss rush. Just letting them make the moves, letting them come to you. I don't want your toss, your throw maneuver, shell toss. Stick with this hammer. Once again, we've seen all these mini bosses before. We more or less know their moves. Like he's gonna launch at us when he does that freezing move. telegraphing some of his moves here. It's just a matter of not getting greedy, getting close enough to get those hits in, but we've got time. There's no running clock going here like so many other NES games. And the hammer's the way to go here. I'm no Blaze, but it would, if I were, it would get my, if I had a vote, it would get my ability of the game here in Kirby's Adventure. And there we go. Very colorful, you have to say, as well. We haven't really talked about the graphics too much, but easily one of the most colorful games on the NES. Which is, I mean, it certainly goes with the theme of the game, but also you would think, you know, to compensate after the developers were hamstrung by the Game Boy with Kirby's Dream Land. So, taking full advantage, using all the colors. If you want to sleep for any particular reason, inhale one of those guys, use that ability. Again, it should at least top off your health. That's what I say, but might be a little late, 30 years later, to get my vote in for tweaks to Kirby's Adventure, 30 years after it came out. And while we continue to work our way through Rainbow Resort, no hidden switches to worry about until the final stage here, as I mentioned. Let's go back to Fluff for one more Fluff fact about Kirby's Adventure. I'm told specifically maybe as it relates to Rainbow Resort, or maybe just the levels. I don't know, you tell it, Fluff.
Speaking of Rainbow Resort, the first initial of each level spells out BIBGYOR. Not very interesting on its own, but reverse it and you get ROYGBIV, a mnemonic for remembering the colors of the rainbow.
There you go, that's how I learned it, ROYGBIV. Very cool, again, just goes back to the colors once again, right? Very pretty game visually, very visually engaging, I suppose. It's a good way of putting it, but getting a little momentum from these slopes here to get a little extra boost out of our runs. Just a few stages left. Haven't hit that big jump in a while. I guess we haven't had the hunger for it. Maybe that's what I'll attribute it to. So we head into stage 4 of level 7's Rainbow Resort. Like they're going all out with the colors in this one. Just trippy. Nice contrasts, you know. You got like the aqua teal look with the... There we go. Oh no. Man, I really wanted that tornado. Probably my second favorite, I would say, overall. Sword is, you know, maybe a 4th or a 5th, but yeah, the hammer and the twister, the tornado, two of the best ones in my estimation. Yeah, this stretch is just going through a lot of these very colorful 90s fantastic designed rooms. Looks like it could be alternate designs for Lisa Frank folders, if you ask me. Trapper Keepers, maybe. Not sure if that's still a thing. Sword works very well, though. They're very generous with, you know, the range of the sword, but the swing which it takes, sort of like the hammer. And it stays out for a while, much like the hammer, so very safe in that regard. Has a decent reach, too, when you see the kind of the full swing of it. And yeah, that didn't... Probably should have kept that one where it was. And there it came back to us. We'll take that. Again, if you want to grab a bomb here, actually I guess we could go back and respawn one here. There we go. Get that crash ability. Always nice to have that in your back pocket or part of your digestive system, whatever, wherever it exists in Kirby's being, I suppose. Guess the wheel's better than nothing at this point. Actually, it's completely useless here, as you can see the star directions kind of tip off as to which direction the air is going there that you can't see. Speaking of what you can't see, the final hidden switch in the next stage is incredibly well hidden, and we might get our first death here. Hanging on for dear life. Have to be very careful. This would be a bad time to lose it. So late in the game. So we'll need that fire ability here to light the fuse. One touch and we are dead. There we go, just what the doctor ordered. Well, I guess he probably would have ordered a Maximum Tomato, but beggars can't be choosers here. So here the fireball is easier to get through that little bit right there, but it's actually not necessary. We can still barely get into this cannon if we're very quick and we launch it from the very edge. Right there, because you see the flames go a little bit down right there. Yeah, they kind of spread out just enough, and if you... There we go, alright. If you want to go for the fireball, grab one from that guy if you go back and spawn him, but in this case, you can do it with the fire and get 5 extra lives on demand. Again, I would have traded all that for a Maximum Tomato. Right now, the streak is more important to me than extra lives. Alright, so the final stage right here within Rainbow Resort is the final switch in the game. And we have a nod back to Kirby's Dream Land with the monochrome graphics right here. Again, we don't need a particular ability to get to this final switch, and if we can get to the switch, then we'll get all of our health back. It's hidden close to the end of this stage. It's using the basic abilities of inhaling and launching these enemies back at the other ones just to keep alive. Running on fumes in this final stretch here. There's a Maximum Tomato. There we go. Alright, get back on our feet here. Alright. Always play with a lot more confidence when you know you got full health right there. Yeah, if you played the original Kirby's Dream Land, a lot of this will look familiar. You expect there to be something hidden there after playing the rest of this game at this point, but no. Another tomato right there. After a long stretch of being stingy with them, they're plentiful in this area. It's like a mini dungeon this stage, far and away the longest of the game. And if we knock out all these pegs right here and hover on up above, see the moon right there? Go underneath the moon and push up. There's a hidden door right underneath the moon for that final hidden switch. 17 for 17, there you go. You got the 100% completion now. And if you want to get that tomato, again, redundant at that point, but Grab the one up. We get one last... No, we can't. Big drought for not hitting that, but that's alright. Alright. We have the boss of Rainbow Resort. And it's a big one. Let's throw it back to Gary.
Boss beaters.
Alright, the king himself. You want to keep your distance in the air when he's charging at you without a hammer. When you want to slide when he's in the air. When he's coming at you with the hammer, that's when you want to retreat, suck up the star when he hits the ground, fire it back. Repeat this process. You're not out of the woods yet, but he's not that difficult of a boss, all things considered.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you very much, Gary. Not quite done yet with your services today, but... Yeah, I think you would have been better off just doing the quick draw game with us. That would have been truly difficult as a proper final boss exchange right here, but... Yeah, it's just pretty slow. Look for that hammer like Gary mentioned, otherwise just keep your distance. It's kind of a long fight when he does one of those wrestling moves as well. Gotta love those bosses that just, you know, their strategies aren't working, but they just keep bringing it, you know? Haven't landed a hit yet, but you never know. Let's try this same 3 or 4 move set. Something might break. Wrong side for that one. Getting a little sloppy here at the end. Still not difficult, just... Maybe that's his strategy. He wears you down. He's like Rocky in that sense, to reference that for the second time throughout this Kirby's Adventure walkthrough, but... Yeah, we're not gonna sell out needlessly. Let's just take our time. This should do it. That was a gimme. Thought we were falling on that one. Alright, we get an interesting exchange here where he's begging us not to. Here we are, level 8, the Fountain of Dreams, the actual final level, but not in the conventional sense. It's like he's imploring us, please, don't go, Kirby. Don't do it. You have to do it. Just smack him away. Beautiful. Man. Just the best colors on the NES, I'm convinced. Yeah, maybe that's why he didn't want you to do that, Kirby. So he's gonna launch you off in a moment of solidarity right there. Alright, Gary?
Alright, the Nightmare Orb. You gotta do this as quickly as possible, otherwise you lose. So just stay lined up with the boss to avoid half of his attacks, and you'll land more shots this way. Dodge when necessary when staying lined up with him isn't gonna work like when he charges at you, but just keep firing. Gotta take him down before it gets too late and you lose, but if you take him down, you'll move on to the final boss.
Alright, good call. Yeah, this would be, if you're working on a no-death run, this could be the time when you lose it right here. Because as the sky gets brighter and brighter, you're running out of time. Sometimes you gotta sacrifice dodges just to get more hits in, just so you can actually take them down in time. Oh, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. Oh, there we go. Alright. Yeah, there's the ground right there. We had seconds to spare right there in the end. Alright, we have the actual final boss. 18 bosses later. Mini bosses and bosses combined. Alright. Here we are with strategies on how to beat the final boss of Kirby's Adventure. Gary, take us home. Who do we got?
Alright, the final boss in Kirby's Adventure, the Nightmare Vampire. You want to get underneath him and do the jump attacks when he's above you. Do the normal attack when he's low to the ground, pretty much right on top of you. Want to slide when he swoops down, but just repeat this process. He'll take him down before you know it, and congratulations, you've beaten a great game in Kirby's Adventure.
Good call. Thank you very much, Gary. Kind of reminds me of the vampires in Illusion of Gaia a little bit right there. I like the design though. Yeah, to stay low, the strategy seems to be working pretty well. Just jump when you have that opening, get the slide to avoid that damage right there. Had the Nightmare King in Little Nemo, the Dream Master. Here we have Nightmare Vampire. Not too difficult though if we stick to this strategy. Yeah, the vampires which could warp in and out, that's very Illusion of Gaia. One of my favorite games of all time. I'd like to do a walkthrough on that at some point. Came out, I think maybe the same year, 1994. At least in America, probably a little earlier in Japan, but once again, getting off topic here. Just a couple more shots should put down Nightmare Vampire. And this to save Dreamland. There we go. Excellent work from all my TAs today, especially Gary. 19 bosses. It's a lot of coverage right there. This very long but very satisfying game in Kirby's Adventure. Absolutely love this title. Glad to finally do a walkthrough on it here on Video Games 101. And a pretty decent ending, too, on top of already great game. Kirby fought to find the Star Rod, but King Dedede did not mean any harm. See? Bad dreams invaded Dreamland. He's just trying to help out. While simultaneously trying to kill you with all of his baddies. A nightmare came to the Dream Spring and tried to cause pain to the people. Dedede foiled the nightmare. How about that? We're buddies. I like that. By hiding the Star Rod from him. It was all just one big misunderstanding, Three's Company style. Dedede helped Kirby beat the nightmare. I mean, he wasn't there during the battle. It would have been more helpful had he not tried to fight us first, but now everyone's dreams will return. Tonight, Dreamland will sleep well. Does Dreamland sleep? Is that kind of redundant, or I'm not sure, but that's fine. Excellent title. And yes, yeah, a lot of the later games on the NES invested a bit more into the endings as well. Sure beats those early titles when it was just, good job, congratulations, and it's not even spelled right. Kirby waving at us as he sails away on his warp star. There you go. Great game. I'll say it one last time. Thanks so much, everyone, for, there you go, Iwata, producing it. Shigeru Miyamoto. Want him to be yellow. I guess that's fair, you know. He had, he always liked very striking, visually striking colors that he didn't use in other games like Link's Green, Mario's Red, obviously. Like, we don't really have a lot of super yellow characters. This was before Pikachu. Just before Pikachu by a couple few years. Get a nice shot of all the bosses one last time. But yes, please consider subscribing to Video Games 101 if you have not yet already done so. Once again, we do one of these classes every single week. We would love to have you enrolled. And click that like button if you don't mind. It really does help us out in making future classes for you. And lastly, leave a comment if you have fond memories of this game. Maybe you never beat it before. Maybe a couple of our strategies helped. More to the point, more interestingly, I'd be curious to know what your favorite abilities of Kirby's are in this game. Again, I said I'm partial to the hammer, the tornado, I like the sword, a lot of great options. UFO, obviously, but you know, that's a little too easy, a little too overpowered there. Before we go, though, we need to enjoy the fruits of our labors by acknowledging that 100% completion there, which is going to open up extra mode, which will allow us to play through the game again with half the health. So it's just a lot more challenging, doesn't save your progress. And I think if you beat it one more time after that, you can play as Meta Knight. So there you go, extra game to go on to a more challenging quest. Can't save, and your max health is halved. So, very challenging. As we take a peek at that, what that looks like. There we go, extra. There you go. Alright, that's our time. We'll see you next week in the same spot for next week's class, right here on Video Games 101. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and comment on this video, and click subscribe if you haven't already, as this seriously helps me to keep making great content for you. And check the description of this video to see what song is playing right now.